again, everybody. It's Chris, and today we are going to do some square baling. If you've seen the short I made with the square baler hack, I think I called it, I replaced one of the knife arms with a one from a New Holland 273 square baler that a friend had given me. So we're going to see how well that works out. This 720 baler, I think it's a 1969 model if I remember right. We bought it new, and it's been on the farm ever since. Been a good machine. I remember baling a lot of square bales as a kid. Now it just does a few hundred a year. And we're gonna try it out and see what it can do. Pulling it this year is going to be the Super 88 diesel. As a rule, this is the combo. These are the pair that go together to make hay. This is the one that my dad won the National Level Land Plowing Contest 2 years in a row. Still have that plow, so this is one of those tractors that you know is just never going to leave the farm as long as I'm around. Dad and I restored it in 92. I think we rebuilt the engine in 90 or 91, something like that. Used it for a year, make sure we got all the leaks dried up, and then brought it back in and painted her up. Probably should have left it around alone now in this day and age of original tractors, but hindsight's always 20/20. It's nice to have a wide front so you can straddle the windrow of hay. If you remember right, when I used it, I didn't actually make video for first cutting. I was ready to, and only made about a dozen bales before that knife broke, and then the shear bolt sheared off. And I've been hearing a clunk. I did find a loose roller bearing in the plunger. I sharpened the knives while I had it in there doing the other stuff, so gave it a good once over. And well, as you'll see, it's still making that clunk noise and causing issues. It'll come up here pretty soon. You'll see it in the video. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Must it be off that humidity? Man, this one's... The ones that I did bale before weren't bad. This one's kind of... Must have gotten some condensation or something. Other than that, things seem good. Still making knots. there's a timing issue where the needles ain't getting back far enough in time. She doesn't pull that dog out of there. And the dog is doing exactly what it's supposed to. In case this stuff breaks, this thing here has an arm that comes up there and the plunger hits it and it shears the shear bolt off. And and it was partway through a knot, so that makes sense. Well, biscuits. I noticed if I kept the RPMs, it was making a clunk every time it would knot. But if I kept the RPMs down, it wouldn't clunk. Which was making me think that a spring was weak or something and things weren't returning fast enough. That feels good. And that spring actually pulls the dog in, not back. The arm coming back pushes that. The hay looks good. Gonna wish I grabbed a couple of 1/2-inch wrenches to put a shear bolt back in. But she hasn't missed a knot. Yeah, even this one's tied. Well, I guess the first thing to do is get a bolt in there and get her cleared out. And then I can kind of check things out, trip it manually, crank it over by hand, or give up. God. Sheared that baby right off. Brake don't feel hot. Guess I should have finished that up by hand to start with. Now I'm down a shear bolt. Yeah, it's almost like the clutch is letting go too soon and not quite finishing up, not quite returning it to the home position. That's weird. Maybe there's something wrong in there. One of the dogs not catching. Well, now that I know it's in place, that's the only shear bolts I got left. That ought to do. Okay, knotter's back in home position. Let's try this again. Of course, now it's going to be plugged. Got it going when you weren't looking. I should probably put a nut on that shear bolt. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't bring wrenches. But you know, some of these chains need the slack taken out. That little bit could probably be enough to cause the timing to be off some just from the slop. Explain the speed thing. And I didn't have wrenches to tighten up the nut on that shear bolt. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, there's an adjuster. We're gonna go tighten some chains up. Yeah, they're needing it. Oh yeah, look at all that. Embarrassing. Well, we'll leave the wagon here. It's not that far of a drive back to the shop. GoPro needs a battery too. Yeah. Feels good. That We even found a nice spot, flat spot to shear off. All right, wagon, we'll be back for you later. Here's where we're at. Got the slop out of the chain. The only thing I got is just a little bit of, well, you can see it down in there. Looks like a roll pin goes through that. It might be a set screw. That gear. And just a little slop in that. But I took a lot out of that chain there and then some out of that chain there. So we're gonna hope that gets us through to get these two wagons filled up, and then I will address that roll pin looseness in that gear. So it's almost ready. It's almost, we got a full-size bale, you can tell by this. So I'm going to spin it up and see what happens. As long as we're right here. Let's give her some R's. Well, it wasn't the clunk that it was before. Let's give her a whirl. Oh, look, the tractor's gonna leave without us. I think I'm going to tighten up that knotter brake. It might need. Maybe this is just slamming back too fast. Yeah, it's not getting hot. At least it's back in home position. Hay dog springs all feel good and tight on top. Let's go underneath. I don't think they'd be causing a timing issue. don't know if it shears again. I guess I'm gonna have to say it's a timing issue. Chain probably needs replaced. It's just gotten worn and stretched for all these years, even after taking the slop out. And then that worn pin. But let's try her now with that brake a little bit tighter. Once I figure out where I put the wrench. I just got thinking, that's probably a terrible thing. Grab those evil crescent wrenches. But yeah, there is an adjustment. I'm just wondering if this you know, years of wear and everything. There it is, if you can see it. The catcher, the dog catcher. Whether that's a little bit of slop and all this stuff is keeping it from coming back as far as it should, because everything else seems to be working just fine. So I'm thinking if I take a couple, run this yoke down just a little bit farther so it pulls it back sooner. A little wear right there, a little wear right there. Probably some on that bushing. What the heck. Okay, I've run it in a couple of turns, 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know, a little bit. Hopefully that'll help. Let's give her a whirl. once I adjusted that. Well, I'm glad I thought of that before I went and tore everything apart. I'll put some more in the front. camera's telling me I got 3 minutes left to speak my piece, and then the memory card will be full. So once I got that dog thing that protects the knotters from the plunger and the Veneva failure, she worked perfect. Didn't miss a single knot the whole time, even with that problem. So that was a successful transplant. That knife arm from a New Holland 273 Baler. Alright, she's making knots. Sweet.